So it's games last night why the Yankees, brought Gerrit Cole here to New York. And that's why the Nationals signed Max Scherzer and the Dodgers traded for Max Scherzer, right? That's why the Mets, have given Jacob deGrom the money that he deserves. And even though he's hurt, and hopefully he comes back healthy. But that's why these guys are there, to pitch games like that, to break them out of losing streaks, to show up as an absolute ace, beast mode, dominate, okay, and get them back on track. And you'll see the most of the top teams, they either have a legitimate super duper ace, or a pairing of two really good pitchers, or a pairing of three really good pitchers, and it's kind of across the board. And Cole's a top 3 pitcher in major leagues in my opinion. So it's rare that you have two of those guys on the same team. Although he had him and Justin Verlander on the Astros a couple of years ago, that was two dominant aces at the same time. Okay, and then you have you've got Kershaw, Buehler, Scherzer on the same squad. It's ridiculous. Even Woodruff and Corbin Burns over there in Milwaukee. Woodruff is dominating and he's pitching really well. Like Rodon and Lance Lynn. So you've got a good pairing of these guys. And San Diego's got a whole bunch of them. Once those guys start clicking, and Mike Clevenger's not even back yet, those guys haven't really started clicking yet. If they do, and when they do, they're going to be really, really tough. So it's guys like that. Legitimately, Cole would do well to have a 1B right behind him, or a legitimate number 2 right behind him. And and I like the guys in the Yankees rotation, but if they can bring in, another top flight starter behind him, it improves their chances of not having losing streaks like they had, over the last 4 games. And it helps them keep them out of slumps and things like that. It helps kind of keep the pitching rotation in momentum. And so I'm hoping that the Yankees do this in the offseason. But I just want to give kudos to Gerrit Cole. We're not playing a game tonight, so I want to do this about Gerrit Cole today. 7 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 run, 15 strikeouts, 115 pitches. Absolute domination. His 5th game this season of 12 or more strikeouts. He's got a 2.75 ERA now. He's obviously, he ain't going anywhere in the Cy Young race in the American League. So, and he's an absolute gamer. He's a bulldog. And I think had he not missed those couple games of COVID, he'd be further along. Obviously, I think he'd have a couple more wins. And he's close to breaking Ron Guidry. I think it's either 248 or 240, between 247 and 249 strikeouts. That's the single season record for Yankees starters. So I think he's well on his way to breaking that as well. So he'll be the new Yankees single season strikeout guy at some point. And, again, this is a guy that's probably going to average between 230 and 260 strikeouts a year for the next bunch of years. So he might break it again at some point. It'd be kind of awesome if he got to 300 one day, but we'll see. But kudos to Gerrit Cole. We needed that performance. We needed that bulldog mentality on the mound. And his not only, and he's becoming a leader on the Yankees, helping the younger pitchers, sitting down with them and talking with them. And he's been doing it since he's come here. So sharing his kind of skill set and his repertoire and his insights with guys in it. And it does make his teammates better. So he's one of these, quiet and vocal leaders. But nevertheless, he's a leader. And he's making the guys around him better. So, but I do think another frontline starting pitcher would be really, really good. Even one that can maybe push Cole, even though there's not many in baseball that can. It is definitely possible. And particularly if the Yankees want to continue going far into the postseason, they need to get another frontline starting pitcher. There's other decisions to be made, and we've talked about that in the infield, shortstop, and first base. But another frontline starting pitcher and another reliever so would be ideal. And in my opinion, when Luis Severino comes back at some point, I don't think he'll be back at full strength until next year. I think he should be in the bullpen, not in the starting rotation. Okay, he signed a 4-year, $40 million extension. Next year is going to be the 4th year, so it's almost 3 wasted years of this extension that he signed. So I would be having him in the bullpen, increasing his chances of being dominant more often, throwing darts, and if he does become a valuable trade piece, you can move him at some point instead of being a potentially injured starter. So that's my opinion. If they bring in another starter, they can transition him into the bullpen. They've just made both of them better. So that's my view on the pitching. But this is about Gerrit Cole. Wonderful pitching performance. Really, really, really happy that you're here, man. And I love the fact that we still have you for 7 more years, dude. And we're going to continue to build around you. And, I really hope that he gets his Cy Young at some point, if it's not this year, and his World Championship. And I also want him to get a no-hitter at some point, too. I mean, he's one of these guys like Jacob deGrom. Like, they have no-hit stuff a lot, but then they wind up giving up one hit in the 5th inning or whatever it is. Like, they don't give up a lot. Sometimes they have bad games, sure, but, like, he's one of these guys that should get a no-hitter. Like, Justin Verlander's got 3, I think. Scherzer, I think, has 3. I think Cole, Cole deserves at least 1. And I'd rather he get it than some other dude like Dallas Brady again throwing a perfect game or something like that. Like, he deserves a no-hitter. He deserves his World Championship, and he deserves his Cy Young Award. So let's go get it, boys.